mamas, I wanted to personally welcome you to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah, and in this channel I talk about all things health, beauty and mommy life. In today's session, I want to share with you guys 5 tips on traveling with young ones. It's sad to say that my kids are no longer toddlers. They have started school. My son is 6 years old. He is going into grade 1. My daughter is 4 years old and she's going into preschool. However, I am expecting my 3rd child along the way. So that's something to look forward to, which I will be sharing with you guys the journey. So for today's session, I wanted to talk about how to best prepare to travel with young ones and, toddlers or even kids. I know that with the restrictions that are on place, we can't travel internationally, but I do believe that some domestic places are still open with the United States, here in Australia, in Europe, or any country that you're in. The flights are still open domestically, so there is some form of travel there. Okay, so as my kids are experienced travelers, they have been into so many places since they were newborn. I remember taking my son for his very first international trip at the age of 10 months, and my daughter for the very first time at the age of 13 weeks. And since then, they have gone into so many places around the world. Okay, so my tip number 1. Now, if you have a baby that is newborn or that you're still breastfeeding or still in the bottle, my advice is during takeoff and landing that you breastfeed them or that you bottle feed them. Now, you guys can imagine, us adults, our ears start to pop when it's when the plane starts taking off or when it's landing or even in the air sometimes. And the best solution for this to have a settled and not crying baby is to bottle feed them or to breastfeed them. You guys know that to get rid of popping ears, you gotta swallow. So for them to swallow and use their mouth to swallow, this will eliminate any feeling that they're having during the plane ride, and this will really help a lot. This worked with my kids very well. I remember one time, I was doing this tactic, and there was a kid in the plane. He was about maybe 1.5 years old, and the parents couldn't control him, and he kept touching his ears. He kept playing with his ears, and he kept crying, and he was so hysterical. He was just crying and crying, and he would not stop. And the only time he stopped was when he fell asleep. So I do recommend this tactic is to feed them while takeoff and during landing. Okay, so tip number 2 is snacks. Bring as many snacks as you can. All your toddler's favorite snacks, whether it's rice, crackers, yogurt, whatever it may be, bring that with you in the airplane. This will help them a lot to be settled. It might just be for a few minutes, depending how long they snack, but it does help a lot. Tip number 3 is bring activity books. My daughter absolutely loves activity books. She will actually only stop when I tell her to take a break. This will definitely keep them occupied for even as close to 1 hour. So bring as many activity books as you can for them to write or play on. Okay, so number 4 is if you have an iPad or even a phone, or any phone, iPhone, an Android phone, whatever phone you have or computer, you can always download some movies. Now, we download movies from Netflix. There is an option to download a certain amount of movies that you want. Even if you don't have internet connection, it will still play because you have downloaded it, and it will be stored in the actual app. So download as much movies as you can. I understand that Stan does this as well as I'm pretty sure Disney as well. So this has occupied my kids when traveling overseas internationally and domestically. Okay, and lastly, be prepared for what can happen in the airplane. So make sure to pack as many spare clothes as you can for your kids. You could have vomiting toddlers, you could have messy toddlers with what they're wearing. Even for yourself, for us adults, we need spare clothes with, anything can happen in the airplane. And I'll give you an example. I had a friend who picked up her son from her home country and brought him back, to Australia. And during the plane ride, her son vomited on himself and vomited on her. Now, she had no spare clothes because the spare clothes that she had was actually in her checked-in luggage bag, and all she had were wet wipes. So it was, very uncomfortable for her and her son. Her son would have been about 1.5 years old at this time. And she was so stressed, so she had to ask the flight attendant if they could move to another place where there wasn't much people that could smell him and her. So yeah, pack as much clothes as you can, not just for your kids but for yourself. The last thing you want is any spilled drink on you or any vomit on you. Imagine if you had to have, if your flight was 4 hours, so you're gonna have to be stuck with the same clothes for that amount of time. So it is gonna be very uncomfortable. And of course, lastly, whatever your kids absolutely love, whether it's their favorite pillow, their favorite toy, their stuffed toy, bring that with you in the airplane ride. You want your kids to feel very comfortable and happy during that plane ride. Okay, so this pretty much concludes my video for today about traveling with younger ones. Now, if you haven't done so already, please like this video and please consider subscribing to my channel where I talk about all things health, beauty, and mommy life. My name is Hannah and I hope to see you guys on the next video. Bye!